Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second ever episode of the Unstarving Artists podcast. We've upgraded some equipment, gotten better things around. That t-shirt is still there. I know people are going to say, oh, it's just dirty laundry. It's not. It's a picture of me and Kevin Smith, and I wanted to display it because I think that's a cool picture, and my dad got it for me, and I think that's adorable. Kevin Smith is also there in case you're wondering, so double dose. So today, really excited, have a great guest. His name is Ben Stegmair. He is a very good friend of mine. We went to school together. He is an actor, he is a director, and he has incredible insight, I think, nowadays more than ever, because he is one of the few people that I know personally who has dealt with the coronavirus pandemic from an artist point of view as both a performer, as a director, as a student, and also just out in the theater community. So I'm very excited to talk to him about all those things and more. So we'll bring him on right now. Everyone, please welcome my good friend, Ben Stegmair. There he is. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
You got such a rousing introduction that you didn't get to hear, but I swear it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Oh, I'm so
gorgeous,
happy.
Glorious.
That's great. That's so great.
Yes. So yeah.
Less enthusiastic because we already said hello, so I'm not like, "What's up? How's it going?" No, I'm like,
we did the setup before I brought him on again, so we've already gotten the niceties out of the way.
And I was
now
like,
it's professionalism.
I was over here and I was like, hello. I didn't want to come in and be like, "Hello, sir. How are you?"
Like that'd be different than any other one of your entrances I've ever seen you do.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's
clearly true. I'm clearly not just busting your balls.
Clearly.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to fill everyone in. Ben and I know each other. We went to school together at Richland College a few years back. I really enjoyed the time we had there, specifically in the sense of it was me coming back after a hiatus from things, you on the way up as far as theater went. So I got to see like, oh, look at when someone is young and vibrant and full of life and hasn't been beaten down yet by things, which was very nice. It's like seeing it through a fresh new set of eyes, and
That's
also
good.
a very talented, good set of eyes, if I can be so bold
sweet.
as to say. So, but don't want to get too much into all of that. In the intro, I kind of spilled out some of your background. We're going to go into it in a little more detail. But if anyone's seen my other episodes, they know I always start out with the most thought-provoking question first, just to get the juices flowing, get things started. So I just want to ask you up front, what's been going on, man?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? Well, it's I mean, I don't know. It's been
a fascinating show so far.
I know, isn't it? It's quite thought-provoking. I mean, it's just a lot of looking towards the future right now because I finished with The Immigrant at Theater 3 and the show died down, so that's all over. And now I'm sitting down reading plays, doing my hobbies, video games, watching television, and right now I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen in the future because it's just a roller coaster ride.
Because the present's so insane.
No, exactly.
Gotta look forward because there's nothing to look at right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of, especially at SMU, there's a lot of, we plan on having a plan, and right now I'm just like, okay, I'm sick of this. Like, let's go on, make a plan, and then let me know, and then that lets me know whether or not I can come back.
Sounds very similar to a saying they have in the film industry, which is hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Which is, get everything moving to just sit around and do nothing for a while.
Exactly.
Plan to have a plan. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to talk about SMU more as well, but we'll go back a little bit. So, Richland, we both were there at the same time. I guess that was you at the very beginning. I was there, and then we did a few shows together.
Yep.
What specifically about Richland do you remember fondly besides, like being able to be in a building with students? Which is what I miss more than anything.
Licking the doorknobs and breathing around other people. The good old days.
Flicking off the hand sanitizer as you go by, like
exactly.
Who's ever going to need that?
Whoever's going to use hand sanitizer.
Come on, what a joke.
Right?
Stuff is like gold now.
Yeah,
if we were quarantined inside of Richland, that stuff would literally be currency. That and toilet paper. How we would barter for goods.
It would be like a Lord of the Flies kind of thing.
It really would. It absolutely would.
Exactly. Well, I would say definitely the most fun thing I had about Richland was the individuality of everything. Was that SMU does have quite a bunch of students. So it's a lot of times you're in one class, you're sitting down and you're just watching other people, which has its advantages, of course. But at Richland, it was every day, get your hands dirty, get into the work, which really benefited me as a young actor who was trying to be, as confident as he could. And then, of course, the second thing was the people, professors, actors alike. I loved all the people there. A couple months ago, I texted you and I was like, yo, we need to talk, and
when I reached out to you to do this show, I checked on that because I was like, I really want to see what Ben's up to because I've been seeing you on Facebook doing all these things. I was like, he'd be a great one to talk to. And I saw that you had sent me a text on March 1st saying, we haven't spoken in a while. We should get together, do something soon. And that was like a week or two before just
before utter
madness
chaos.
hit.
So I wasn't, I didn't even remember, to be honest.
I didn't either. I went back and looked and I was like, oh, we were going to hang out. What a strange time that was when we could go out and do things.
See people. Yeah, it was great. But I mean, I remember going into it, and my first semester at Richland was extremely nerve-wracking, and because all my other friends from high school who I was close with went to university and they were all posting stuff, and I was like, God, I don't have any friends here. I don't know what the theater is like here because I haven't really tried anything yet. But I mean, there were some really, really good people who took me in and helped me out, and of course, the two biggest being our professors, Lash and Andy, and even the technical professor. So I would especially thank like the teaching of the professors. Like for a community college, now me thinking on it, having acted professionally for the first time last summer, me thinking like, oh, thank God I learned that. Could you imagine me going anywhere else and not knowing that? How extremely screwed I would have been.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, and I think they taught me more about the professional world than they needed to. So, especially the professors was, yeah.
Great. Were you you said a lot of your friends went to university, you didn't. Were you recruited to Richland? Was there like a specific reason you decided to go community college as opposed to other options?
Money.
Okay, that's a good reason.
I was recruited. I was accepted at OU and UT theater programs, and my parents just came up to me and said, no, you're not going to these universities. And looking at the bank account and my bank account, I'm like, bro, you're right. But I was so angry and so mad. And I remember going to visit Richland and me just breaking down and me being like, oh no, like, oh, I'm going to have a horrid time. But no, it wasn't like that at all. I mean, I met with Andy and he told me, he was like, we're not a university. We're not that, but we are trying to get there. And now, and I want to see Richland continue to grow and to continue to do the great things that they do. And it's just like looking at Midsummer this year, which was like 20 people working on it, just makes me be like, man, that's crazy. I'm like, I love it. And the talent that goes with it. Anybody who comes up to me and says, I want to do acting, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, just go to community college. There is no shame in that, even though our glorious Lord President has stated that community college is a hoax and a joke and nobody should go to community college. But I'm just like, this is the correct step and this is the path that I've taken. I'm so lucky that I was able to do that.
Absolutely. I love one of the reasons I think community college is such a great idea is if you don't know for sure what you want to do, but you want to dabble, if you want to, dip your toe in the water, play in the sandbox, you can do it without destroying your bank account for years to come.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
said. Now, if you do theater and you do it well, then I think you're going to get a lot out of it anyway, like you did. I believe in, obviously I have. But it's just, if you don't know, if that's ever your thought process is, I'm not sure, but I want to know more, go do it there for the cheap, man.
Yeah. And
it's the best hoax you'll ever spend barely any money on.
Yeah. And it's absolutely crazy that a lot of the people who are in our program are like business majors or math majors, because I'm just like
those are some talented future accountants right there.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
It's gonna be like, oh man, their banquets at the end of the year. Oh boy, they're gonna school those mini skits.
Tell you what.
But yeah, it's crazy to me. It's as good as any. It's as good as any. Sorry, my dogs are barking in the background, but
let's just laugh.
It is what it is. But the quality in it is just. I'm surprised anybody hasn't gone to Richland College. So
they all have the same thought process you did. You just got lucky enough to be poor.
I was lucky. So,
everyone who has their parents say no, like, no, this is terrible. Hey, sometimes it works out.
This is a terrible idea, and they're correct. It was horrible.
Sometimes they know best. Sometimes they just luck into a good idea. You never know.
Oh yeah.
So when we were at Richland together, I didn't really know you your first semester there.
No,
but
nobody
because you were in acting 1 and I was in the acting 2 class. But then after that, we were in the same class because 2 and 3 are together.
Yep.
And so we started working together, and then we did 3 shows together there. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Shadowbox, Putnam, and Thoreau. Yeah. So what was it like working with me? I guess is really my question. I'm going to cut this out later. This is just more for my
was I great
critique.
Or like no?
What was that like? And the people in general, but mostly.
Yeah, and I told you this I distinctly remember a rehearsal in the Shadow Box, which you probably don't remember, but I remember.
I played football for 6 years. My head got beat around a lot, so my memory's not.
That's okay. Perfect. I played soccer. I headed the ball.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah.
At least I had a helmet. Shoot, you must be worse than I am.
Yeah, maybe. But I would definitely say that the thing is that coming to Richland, I knew I had the passion. I knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But a lot of the steps that I had to take was based on maturity. And I wasn't like doing anything bad, but it was not the sense of I go home, I do the work, and then whenever I come on the stage, I have to be relaxed. And now I realize this after a year at SMU, I realized that I'm like, before I was too like, let's get in there, let's go, you know, but I have to be calm and working with you specifically in the Shadow Box, just watching you. I remember sitting in the front row, just watching you and just being like, oh God, he's so relaxed. I don't know how he does it. And I told you that there was one day where I was having a hard time on my just ginormous monologue that I had about Brian, and you talked to me and you were like, well, why don't you try it like this? And you talked about theater, and it's super small, but you talked about theater in such a smooth, chill way that I think the bumps that I had made me be like, okay, like I know this stuff. I know what work I need to do. Now it's time to just take a deep breath and do it, you know? And observing you was one of the big steps towards that. So not to beef you up too much, but it did help. And towards SMU, my first year at SMU, that was a huge turner for me in what my development of acting is. Yeah.
Awesome. Man, if I ever need a quote for the back of my book, I'll always know where to call to get it. I didn't expect something that sincere. I thought you were going to kind of throw some shade at me a little bit.
Yeah,
wow,
like, well, Jimmy was...
I would sit there at the front of the audience every night and say, that is exactly what not to do.
Yeah, that is that.
Because if you know what not to do,
yeah,
you'll always know the exact opposite of that's where I need to be.
And we have generally, we agree on theatrical terms of what direction we want to go into. So
yes,
just
100%.
Just having someone to help me out with that and sort and straighten my goal, I think was great. Yeah.
That is so sweet. And
Yeah.
I want to, like I always do, always got to turn it right back.
No,
No,
don't do this.
But I want to.
Don't do
It's
this.
fine. I already did it in the intro, so it's fine. But I'm going to do a little bit more so you can hear it.
Well, don't do
always,
it now. It ruins
cut out from the intro. It will ruin it. There we go.
Yeah,
butter you up,
let's keep going.
I'm going to go back a little bit.
Okay, go back.
So before, or actually not necessarily before Richland, but
yeah,
either right at the beginning or middle of your time there, you made your own damn theater company. Either at the end of your high school. I don't want to say it wrong. You can correct me. At the end of your high school, beginning Richland.
It was the end. So what it was we started it. We started it as soon as we finished. I wanted to direct a play because junior to senior year I directed a show, and I was like, oh, I really like directing. Not as much as acting, but I love directing.
Junior year of high school, right?
Yeah. My junior to senior year of high school. So that's summer.
Gotcha.
And my theater teacher was like, well, why don't you make your own company? And I was like, ha. And I was like, wait. I was like, maybe this is actually something that I want to do. So me and, of course, Elias, we came together and we constructed a plan. And that first year was just building up funds. And so, yeah, we did start immediately after high school, but we didn't do any shows for a year and a half, probably. So, yeah.
Just building it up. So then after your first year, I think I have the timing right here because that's where we met. So after your first year of Richland, that summer, you produced your first 2 shows with that company, right?
Yes.
And you directed one and acted another. Is that right?
Yes.
So that's still to this day, and I've talked to you about it, insane to me.
Yeah.
I thought my theater teacher was as supportive as they come, but even she wouldn't be crazy enough to say, You're about to be a senior in high school. Go start your own theater company. Just do it. What you gonna do? Because she assumed like I would that would fail miserably. No matter there's no way. Like
well, and that's the thing is that, and I said this at the beginning, and I think about it, and back then I was like maybe I shouldn't have said it, but now I think on it, I'm like, wow, that's such a wise thing for young Ben to say. Was if we fail, we fail, and if we fail, then we will fail spectacularly. And I said that, and in some ways we did fail. In many ways we did, but in other ways it was successful. But my theater teacher in high school, who I
well
still
done, young Ben. Well done, young Ben.
Yes, thanks. My theater teacher, during high school, he's a great man, and he still is. He sadly had to quit teaching because he wasn't making enough money. So. But now he's looking at playwriting, so I hope that's going to do great for him because he's
sometimes brilliant. When God closes a door, he opens a window.
He opens a window. Hey,
but as we know, windows are much harder to get through than doors.
Yeah,
but sometimes more rewarding.
Yeah, and sometimes windows are 30 stories up. So
learn to rappel. Anyway,
yeah.
So, but credit where credit is due. What was his name? What's his name?
Tyler Brodus. Tyler Brodus.
Well done, Mr. Brodus. Way to build up to I always think that gets underrated, the power that teachers in our past have to put us on the right track, even if it's not like I remember when I was in high school, not to hijack the conversation, but I'm going to. When I was in high school, I loved my theater teacher so much.
Yeah.
Brilliant. She supported me in everything, always built me up and got me in shows, always cast me. I loved it. She was fantastic. Her name is Carla Unkenholtz. At Berkner High School. She's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant woman. That being said, not a whole lot of the craft of acting was learned there, I'll say. Like when I got to my first semester at Richland before you got there, and I started figuring out, like, they said, we're going to do a character analysis. We're going to start looking into all these things and how to build a character. And I was like, you mean memorizing lines and saying them? Is that what you mean?
That's
And then it was like,
yeah.
no, like building a character backstory, like how a character thinks and feels so you can embody that. And I was like, okay, we can try that. Because it's a like,
Really?
and once I did it, I loved it. Like that's the part of acting I really love now is that part. But I never, as much as I loved my time doing high school theater, I never learned that. I never had that built-in foundation of how to really act. It was just, let's do it. Let's get up there and have fun, and that's great. And I wouldn't be where I am now without that. But man, I had a lot to learn when I got out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me a little bit angry that going to like a public school is kind of like rolling a roulette wheel and just being like, all right.
You mean a roulette wheel?
A roulette wheel. That's what I said, wasn't it?
You were clearly not the degenerate gambler.
We're going
that
on. It's already gone. It's
roulette
left
is
my
a city
mouth.
in Texas.
It's left my mouth. Yes, roulette is a city.
Hopefully it never comes back.
I know. I was talking about roulette earlier today.
Oh no, I knew what happened. It was just fun.
Yeah. It's like
the gambler in me felt the need to put it out.
It's like it is like a roulette wheel where you spit it and you're like, oh boy, I sure do hope my school has enough funds to do good theater, and it's like Newman Smith has its which is where I came from, has its on and off periods where sometimes, just like any other public school, like sometimes it's like the program is like esteemed and everybody looks at them and they're like, that's a good theater program. And then other times it's like, ooh, they're not doing theater over there. But I mean, theater is subjective, anyway, but it just, oh, that's crazy.
What do you have to say, Mr. Computer Screen?
Yeah, the computer just talked to me. I was like, whoa, that was weird.
Sounded fascinating. I wanted to know more.
I know. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that now that I'm working more and more in the professional scene, it seems to me that a lot of people have come from like conservatories and private schools, and I'm like, whoa, like you went to private school? I was like,
you really were in it. You were doing the thing.
Yeah. It's like I'm middle school. I knew I wanted to do theater, but I'm like, middle school, I was like, I kind of want to do gaming stuff, Yeah. I want to game for my career, but yeah.
Be great.
Yeah, thanks.
I want to like talk to my friends on the internet and like get tons of views and be able to watch that, like stupid stuff that would never actually happen. That kind of thing. Yeah. I think that's a really interesting point though, because it really tells you that wherever you come from, it's really just about drive and intention. I mean, I came from a high school that our theater staff was very supportive. I don't know how much I learned that would actually get me where I needed to go in the real world if I wanted to pursue it, which of course I do to an extent. Yeah. You were, no, I do. It's obviously it's a weird time in the world when it comes to performance. Yeah. But and then you had this situation where you were doing public school, and again it was great. You were very supportive, and I'm sure you learned a lot. Yeah. But you see that you're in the same place as these people that probably spent tons of money. Now, granted, you're going to SMU now, which isn't cheap, but they were built up through private school, academy, conservatory, these expensive, like crazy educations that are great. Like I'm not putting them down, but it shows no matter where you come from, if you have the drive and the passion, you can get to the same spot.
Yeah, but I mean, you need the people around you to fill that in you.
100%.
I was lucky enough to have a couple of teachers who fueled that into my soul. But I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Me and Lauren are always, we're walking around SMU and we're like, hey, Lauren is my beautiful girlfriend, if you don't know, and I turned to Lauren, I'm like, hey, we go to private school. And she's like, bro, I know, we go to private school. And I'm like, it's insane. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Talk about the 1%. It's like, that's us now.
That's us.
We're those people.
Oh God, I hope not. Oh geez, I hope people don't look at me and go,
this is how 1%. The top 1% live. 1%. Wow, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about Lauren the other day, because I was trying to think, I was prepping for the show, and I was like, after I saw that text, I was like, when was the last time we actually saw each other in person? And I remembered you came to see Midsummer. Yeah, we did that at Richland, and I went to see What We Were, which was your show at What was the name of the theater company? I forget.
Second Thought Theater.
Second Thought. Great theater company. Sorry, I don't remember the name.
No,
but it was a fantastic show.
Loved it. Yeah,
but then I was thinking about it, I was like, before I remembered those, I was like, I think the last place I saw you was last summer at Lauren's birthday party.
Yeah.
And that made me think, that was last summer. She must have a birthday coming up. So
yeah,
when I assume she watches this, happy birthday, Lauren. I assume it's her.
Well, it's in August.
August,
so it's a while from now. So
it's a month away.
I tell myself that because I gotta find a gift. So I'm like, oh, it's a month away.
Amazon's gonna get richer. Just order it, and deliver it straight to you. Yeah. But yeah, I remembered it was August of last year, and I was like, oh, she's got a birthday coming up in like a month. So get to it. Oh, hit the mic. Never a good idea.
That's all good.
So the transition from Richland to SMU.
Yeah.
How was that? How'd you decide on? Is it just because you decided, well, Dad, you were so cheap for 2 years. I saved you so much money. Let's just kibosh that bank account right here. We're going.
No,
going for it. Not. Now's the time.
Okay, so there's plenty of factors in this. Last summer was a train ride, let me tell you. And no, it wasn't a train. It was a roller coaster, a never-ending roller coaster that got off the rails a couple of times.
Is that like roulette rowlette? Is that train roller coaster?
Yeah, you're right.
Perfect.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. I missed this, Jimmy. I missed this.
Well, we've been doing nothing. Well, actually, I lied. I was gonna say we're doing nothing for quarantine for the last 3 months, but then I'm like, oh no, wait, you've done shows and stuff. I'm the one doing nothing.
Yeah, but so that summer was my final summer with was our final summer doing Just Be Productions. So we did a performance which I thought went well. I don't know if other people thought that.
You're referring to Odd Couple?
No, this was our first show, Fiction, and I was the tech director.
Gotcha.
And we were working with the city of Carrollton, and there were a lot of uncertainties with them, and it was our third time working with them, and they kind of got sick of us because they just changed personnel and they're wasting money on art, and nobody wants to waste money on art. And so we did all that, and some people left the company after that, and by that point I was just like, okay, well, here's what we can do. We can stall Just Be for a very, very long time, or we could take all of our money, do what we've been wanting to do, which was perform at the Plaza Art Center in downtown Carrollton for a very long time, and do it. And we did that. And so we had a great number of people coming from different areas. We had Ben, Ben Single, who's one of my close friends at SMU. He just graduated. And we had, of course, Davis from NYU and Alex Estrade from UNT, and we just had an absolute blast with it and went crazy. And I think that production was extremely fun and a lot of great times. However, I don't think I was able to give my full best because so many other stuff was going on at the same time. So at the same time, I was worrying about what was going to happen with my school life, because if I did not get the money to go to SMU, or if the school didn't accept me, I would not have gone to school again.
Wow.
Because I mean, at least this year, of course, I would have gone and tried to get my BFA or BA or whatever, but SMU was my one choice, and boy, did I Hail Mary it. Because I was like, I went and I visited and I was like, I love it. And because they were like, we don't really do musicals. We just do, plays. And all the, high schoolers in the room were like, oh man, musical theater. And I'm like, tell me more. Just plays, do plays,
That's my jam.
Yeah, exactly. And I fell in love with the program. And of course, my good friend, Ben Single, he was like, come, and my parents don't have a stockpile of money saved somewhere. This is not like I'm paying it off. This is like I'm working, and all the money that I work towards goes towards SMU. All the money that I've done for professional theater for the past year has all gone towards my debt. And I was able to get just enough where and I don't want to give specifics because I don't like telling like specific finances, but I was able to just enough where there's the difference between debt and being hopelessly in it, you know. And I was like, well, not hopelessly, but you know, it's like paying it off for 2 years instead of 10 years, you know. And
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, this is great. And I told him, and I was like, I told the program, and I was like, hey guys, I cannot go to SMU if I don't have this amount of money. And they were like, cool, here's the money. And I was like, wow. And they told me, we will put our confidence in you that you will move forward and do good things. And
then immediately,
I screwed it up. No,
yeah.
But also at the same time, before I left Richland, I walked into Lush's office, and he talked to me about Theater 3 auditions, and I was like, "You think I could do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, why not?" Like, but don't expect anything of it.
Sure.
And I didn't at all. I went in and I had fun. I did my Gravedigger monologue that we did at KCACTF.
Absolutely.
And I did my Mark monologue from the Shadow Box.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my first call back was for Dracula at Theater 3, which I, of course, didn't get because I look like I'm 5 years old.
That was the before mustache Ben we see in front of us today.
Oh, before mustache Ben.
That was clean shaven Ben.
Yeah. And then I got a call back for Pride and Prejudice, which was fantastic. And I was like, oh man, if I get in this, like this was like July of last year. I was like, if I get in this, it'll be in the winter, and then I'll have all semester at SMU just to learn and continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week later, Christy Vela, who's one of the most awesome people I've ever met, she texted me and was like, hey, we had somebody drop out of our show, what we were at Second Thought Theater. We start Monday. Do you want to do it? And I was like, hell yeah.
Sure, yeah, you know.
Yeah, maybe. But no.
Check my schedule.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I did check my schedule. Opening week of my first professional show was my first week at SMU. And it was one of the most nerve-wracking times of my life. It was simultaneously one of the worst and one of the best times of my life. I will tell you that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So that was my last summer. It was a wild, wild ride. And I'm lucky where I feel like I was able to stick the landing, even though I had a couple of moments. But I think it all worked out. So, yeah.
It was a great show. I mean, that was so cool to see you and them be like, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah, what'd you think about it?
Oh, dude. I loved that it was original. Like, it was an original piece by a local playwright, right?
By our head of acting at SMU. Yeah. Blake Hackler. He's brilliant.
That's right, Blake Hackler. Yeah. And I love that type of show. I think we've probably discussed stuff like that, but just, you know, musicals are great. I love it. And comedy is so much fun to play. But seeing people live in person just bare their soul and just show pure, unadulterated emotion for that length of time. And that's all that show was. It was like 2 hours of just, let me cut myself open. Everyone can watch me bleed out. Just this raw emotion from everybody. And it was, you were the only male in the show. It was 3 females and you. Yeah. And I don't like, we could go on and on about discussing the plot points, but I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. Because there's a lot that can be spoiled with it. Yeah. There's a lot of twists and turns.
But I mean,
I thought it was insane to see someone who I had gone to school with progress that quickly, not only as a performer, but also just your station of where you were performing. And seeing you do that was such a, I mean, the last show you did that we did together was The Night Thoreau Spent in Jail. And that's a big show, and you were the lead. You were Thoreau, which means you were just on stage the whole time crushing it. So I don't want to underplay that, but maybe it was just the location or the feel of it, but something about doing it there. Or you know it probably was, I wasn't in what we were, so I think I was removed from it. Thoreau, I got to see you every night in the process. This was to see a finished product of yours. And I think just seeing that was, you know, it was, I don't know, it was almost like a sense of pride almost, even though I had nothing to do with it. But it was just like
you did. I told you.
That little I know you say that, but I was just like, man, look at him doing that up there, man. That's so cool.
It's also like working at a theater. Like Second Thought is fairly new compared to the theaters of DFW.
Yeah.
But working like with seasoned professionals who just kill it in every performance I've seen them in. Like the artistic director who just actually stepped down recently at Second Thought is Alex Organ, who's somebody that I've been watching since I was a little kid. And whenever I met him, I was like, you know, but it's like going to a theater and working there right next to the Kalita, you know, which is such a theatrical landmark in DFW that makes me feel
the Kalita Humphreys Theater, in case anyone watching doesn't know the Kalita Humphreys Theater.
It's gorgeous. And I mean, those three actresses that you discussed earlier, like it was not easy. I went into it and I was like, oh, I am hopelessly, utterly outclassed. And it was
gunned out, man.
Yeah, it was hard. And because you whenever you work with people around the same age as you your entire life, you know how to talk to them easier.
Yeah.
But whenever you work with people who are older than you are and more experienced, there's that sense of, am I supposed to be here? Is this right? Am I just doing it? What am I doing? You know, but they were so nice and so caring that I see all of them as like, they're my aforementioned theater aunts. All four of them and our director, Christy Vela. They were just so nice. I was so lucky for it.
Yeah, you've had some great, not to tell you how to feel about people, but you've been around a lot of immensely talented people who have lots of experience in the theater industry through Richland. Through that, I don't know them personally, but I know their resumes and they're incredibly impressive. And then obviously now at SMU. So incredibly for how young you are, both in terms of your age, where you're clearly very young, but also just, you know, your theatrical experience out in the world.
Yeah.
It's incredible the contacts you've made in that time frame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just,
and they all speak very highly of you, which is even harder. Meeting them is one thing; having them like you for an extended period of time is that's the tough part.
that is the difficult things. Yeah, but I mean, it's you have to be a really bad person for them not to like you because they're all so nice. So.
Challenge accepted. So, so you had your first semester at SMU after that, and then you did Pride and Prejudice. Is that right?
Well, yeah, but so
in the winter?
Technically I did What We Were twice. So I did it.
Oh, that's right. You did it in Fort Worth as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And then we went to Circle Theater. Oh my gosh, Jimmy. Oh boy. I want to say
stories
stories out. No, it's nothing wrong with anybody and anything.
Sure.
It's just being a student in a 8-week long run was tiring. It was exhausting. And I mean, I knew it was gonna be, but I didn't know because like also at Richland we have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then that's that, and then we have rehearsals at night. But at SMU, every single day, every hour you are working, and it was just like going to SMU every day and then driving from Carrollton to Dallas to Fort Worth, then back to Carrollton every single day. I thought I was going insane. I remember my history teacher telling me, because he was such a genuine, awesome guy, and he knew all the people in the cast, and he was like, hey, is Ben okay? And they were like, why? And he was like, well, and I would come into class like, and I was like, and he would like call me, and I'd be like, huh, what did you want? And I'm like so exhausted, because it's not only is how long it is, because before that I've only had, the longest run I've had is 2 weeks, and that was 8 weeks, and at that point I'm just like, I'm I thought I was going insane, but I'm so happy and glad that I did it. But it's just like at some point I started to get sick, and at some point, like, it's like all the other people knew each other. And for the first 2 months at SMU, I was kind of an outsider because I didn't have time to hang out with anybody. It was school and then immediately go to work,
Yeah.
But it's right now I'm so thankful that I did it, because watching those professionals work for 8 weeks was the most I've ever learned as a performer. So, yeah.
Plus, I mean, what you wouldn't give now to be able to go do theater in person, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Hey,
So it's like, get
exactly.
get that out of the way now. So,
yeah. Is this going too long? Are we good? Are we doing this too long? Is this like?
There's no set time frame.
Limit? No time.
Unless you got to go somewhere. I don't know. I don't have
I
anywhere
don't
to be.
go anywhere. Where do I gotta go?
That's a great point. Well,
exactly.
I don't know. You, like I said earlier, and I meant it, you've been more busy doing stuff during quarantine than I have.
Maybe.
So
I would say lucky rather than busy, but
correct.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's part of what I wanted to get into, because I think you have such an interesting viewpoint of this pandemic from both a artistic standpoint and just a logistical standpoint, because you were not only, performing in the world, doing stuff in theater out in the community, but also you were a student.
Yeah.
You are directing. Weren't you in the middle of directing a show when everything hit the fan? Were you directing gruesome playground injuries?
Yes, I did. I was.
So you were directing at the time, performing at the time and stuff, doing classes. And then it was just like, nope, that's a big heck no on that one.
Hey, well, we still went with all of our performances.
You did.
It went very well. We were very happy. Yeah.
I remember specifically, I saw it was either a Snapchat or an Instagram where you were talking about one of your last performances of Gruesome at SMU.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, if you're sick, stay home. But if not, we're doing this
thing. Not, come down and
come over. This was in March. This was right after,
Yeah, and they closed. We were going to have a performance and they closed down the building, like closed down Meadows. And we were like, oh my God. But luckily I knew, or not me, I knew someone who knew, like faculty managers. And they were like, oh yeah, you guys are supposed to have a performance today. And they let us in, and I emailed the office and I was like, hey, I don't think our attendance is going to go over 50 today. Can we still have this performance? She was like, yeah, sure, why not? I was like, baller, because nobody was there. Nobody was at SMU. The only people who were there were students who were still doing performances at the time, or like just moving out, just leaving. So, yeah.
And that's I thought of that because that was right after we had just had auditions for the musical at Richland.
That's right, I heard.
And I got cast in Rocky Horror Show. I always do that.
Yeah.
So the kid, Rocky Horror Show, the stage version. I got cast in that, and then like immediately after the casting happened, we'd had auditions that Monday.
Yeah.
The school was being like closed down that Friday.
Yeah.
So we got the cast list on Tuesday. By Friday, the school was closed. We were going to spring break right afterwards. Yeah. And then we got the word, oh, yeah, it ain't happening. It's bad. They were just like, it's bad out there, y'all. Like, it's going to be. And we were told, that show's not happening. So that was disappointing. But it was nice to see that you got to have your last performance of that, because obviously Gruesome is a show that we both like a lot. My previous guest, Jasmine, who we both know from when we went to ACTF, she performed in that show, and it was fantastic. I wish I would have gotten to have seen yours. I wanted to go.
It would have been brilliant.
Obviously.
Yeah.
When lockdown happened, I was like, that's that's it for me, everybody.
That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not a gambler, so I don't know if you get that.
At the time, we thought, see you in like 2 months, but really.
In a couple of weeks, this thing's going to die down. Yeah. And now it's by the time 2022 comes around, guys. Yeah,
guys.
Theater's going to be crushing it.
I'll be ready.
I'm ready to go. Yeah. Have capacity, delicious.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have seen it.
It's interesting that you bring that up because it was like Gruesome Playground Injuries, because we both watched it together.
We did.
And I've watched it 3 different times. But this was like, I knew that I wanted to do this because I saw some of the sophomores at SMU, and they weren't getting cast in anything like big, because SMU rightly does cast seniors and juniors to get experience, which is completely justified, absolutely. And we do these things called SMUSTs, which are SMU student theater. And I was just like, my two friends, Jeremy LeBlanc and Laura Scott, who are in a relationship together, I went up to them and I was like, hey, you guys want to do the show? And they were like, heck yeah. And it was the one time where the first time my directing brain was like, I know exactly what the vision is for this, because I've seen it done 3 times, and it's the playwright specifically has in the script, make sure that the actors change on stage, that we see them.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you do that without any budget, without, anything? And we just had a great time with it. I told them, I said that these 2 characters are connected in a way that is beyond our thinking, beyond what we believe is real. So in between each scenes, we would have kind of like they're in the void together, and anything that happened in the last scene was gone, and they just enjoyed each other's company, because a lot of the play it's sad and it's doom and gloom, but it's different when you see them smiling and dancing. And the whole play, I did the sound design for the play, and the whole play was Fleetwood Mac music, because I always think that Fleetwood Mac deals with love and deals with time. So does Gruesome Playground Injuries. Yeah. And so having people like having them dance and laugh and getting into 80s gear for parties and stuff.
Yeah.
It was hilarious and fun to watch. And it was one of those shows where it's the first show I ever sat back and I was like, I know this is going to be good, because I have full faith in it. And it felt so good, even though quarantine, everything was creeping up, the world was coming to a stop. I did the show, and I told them, and I was like, I don't care when the next performance is, because this, I was so damn proud of this, that it was awesome. And they did awesome too. Yeah. Great.
That's incredible. How many shows have you directed?
5? Well, outside of high school, I directed The Dinner Party. I directed Almost Maine.
Right.
I directed The Odd Couple, and then I directed Gruesome Playground Injuries.
I was close. In fairness, I was counting you directing Dinner Party in high school as well. Yeah. So that was the 5, but you're right. Outside of high school, 4. Yeah. So I always wonder this. Obviously, every time you do anything artistic, there's always a learning experience to it. Absolutely. Every show you do, you're different than the time you did it before, or the time you did the previous show. As a director, specifically, what changed from the time you did Dinner Party with your personal company versus when you did Gruesome now?
Yeah. Well, I think we can go back to the beginning of this podcast and talk about how I've grown as a person and as a performer.
Well, I don't have a time machine, Ben, so we're going to have to do it here.
No. But I think it's mellowing out, because whenever I was directing, whenever I was much younger trying to direct, I was a lot like, oh, let's do this. Come on, let's go. I'm so excited about theater. I'm so passionate. And I still feel that. I feel that passion. It doesn't go away. And you know this, of course.
I do.
But taking a deep breath, relaxing your muscles, and constantly breathing, and just letting your brain do its work. You don't need to show that you're passionate, because if you do the work at home, people know,
Yeah.
And I think that instead of trying to be a director and show them exactly where I wanted everything to go, and micromanaging during Gruesome and sometimes The Odd Couple, it was a lot just sitting back and let's see what they got. And then I'll tell them what I liked. I'll tell them what I didn't like, and we'll go from there and see what we can come together. Because I don't want, and this is something that Andy said, which has stuck with me, which is, I don't want to see 10 me's on the stage. I want to see each and every individual actor on the stage. I want to see their art brought to it, because it's not about me. It's about the story. It's about these characters, and a lot of parts it's about what art can the tech, the crew, same thing. The tech,
I was going to go with you. I was going to let you have it.
And the production team can come up with. So I think that's the complete difference with me.
Yeah, wiser men than myself have said most of directing is casting. If you cast the right people in the roles, then directing is just letting them be free to create what they absolutely can create themselves.
Exactly.
And there's a quiet confidence to it, too, of just, directing has this thought of, I want to be in there crafting every moment to exactly what I want. And there's some of that if you have specific things you want to get across, or specific things that aren't there.
Yeah.
But there is so much of it that is, I cast these people for a reason. Yeah. I want them to have the freedom. And it's one thing that I think we understand a lot as performers as well. Yeah, you want a director to make sure you're on the track. But at the same time, I want to do my thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot to bring to the table. Yeah. Let me bring it.
That's the dilemma. Yeah,
it's tough.
It's difficult, and sometimes you'll get if you're watching this and wondering like what's going to happen. If you will get all different kinds of directors, and and in my opinion, I've worked with so many great ones at school and outside of school, and they have, just because they're different and they do it differently doesn't mean any of them are better or any of them are more, it depends on the actor, because some people need to be micromanaged. Some people need the director to come in and get their hands dirty, and in my opinion, a truly great director can read which people need which.
Can't agree more.
And just because a director comes in and gets his hands dirty with you doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad or you're worse. It just means that you're different. You're a different person, than the others. So
some pieces of clay can mold themselves, and some you really have to mold to make the beautiful pot out of it.
Yeah, and there's no issue with that at all.
No, absolutely not. It's I agree with that. The best directors, and not to keep tooting his horn, but I think Andy is an example of someone who I think is
we
really
need to stop tooting his horn. He's gonna he's watching this going, yes.
I think you saw last week's episode. We mentioned you one time, and I was like, he's great, but we can move on to that later.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about it. I put that on my head. I'm just like, no.
So same with Andy, But I will say, in my experience working with directors theatrically, I think he has a very keen eye for who needs a certain thing at a certain time.
Yeah.
And it is not color by numbers across the board. It is not, I treat everyone in the exact same fashion. It's very much, directing is a whole lot, the way I look at it, like plate spinning. You have 15 plates spinning all at once. And if this one's slowing down, it needs the attention. If this one's going fine, I can leave you to do your thing. This one's what needs attention here. And he's really good at knowing which plates need the spinning at a certain time.
And then there's sometimes where you have to let the plates go and be like,
let the plate just fall and break.
We've been spinning for like 6 days now. Don't break.
That's just a broken plate. Sometimes you got to perform with a broken plate. And you'll get through it somehow.
Yeah,
and that's just part of it. But so the main thing I wanted to get to now, an hour later.
I know we've been going on for a while.
We've been going for a while, but you
can cut down. You can cut down.
But I'm not going to. Is the thing. Okay. I'm not going to cut down.
What? You can't buy an editor? I'm just kidding.
I don't know if that's a joke on my ability to make videos. Monetary, but I don't know what.
It's monetary.
Monetary. Okay. Yeah. I can afford anything I want, Ben. Do you see this poster?
Yeah. Pulp Fiction.
That was at least $12.99 when I bought it.
Yeah.
And it has only depreciated in value since then. So, point being,
What a connoisseur.
You think this was cheap to make, this graphic here?
No,
very poorly.
Without a doubt. I mean, you're talking to the guy who has a bunk bed behind him, so
I just figured. I thought it was just a poster of a bunk bed. So you'd be like, "I'm a college kid." You get it, guys?
I'm a
Look how
college
crazy.
kid. No, this
Right?
is the bed that I've been sleeping in since I was 5. So, yeah.
Oh, now my football brain is kicking. I don't remember what point I had before we went off on this tangent.
Yeah, you did talk about the main thing you wanted to get to.
Yes, I will. Before we do that, there was something I wanted to bring up earlier that I just remembered that I mentioned football. I thought it was funny that you mentioned the phrase Hail Mary earlier, considering that's a football term and you are a soccer fan. Have you ever watched a football game?
Hand egg.
What's that?
Hand egg. It's what the Europeans call football.
Hand egg?
Hand egg.
Because it's shaped like a...
Because it's shaped like... And if you drop it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a non-starter right there.
It is an issue.
Well... I'm going to watch this back and be really mad when I think of what it was I was going to say, but
yeah.
we'll get past it.
We were going to talk about Pride and Prejudice a long time ago, but
that's whatever.
It's all good. Yeah, who cares?
Christy directed that too, right? Christy?
Yeah, Christy directed that too.
So you got called back to do that from your What We Were director. That's cool. But what I was really building towards was winter. I'm building all this towards COVID because I think that's the most pressing thing happening to the arts, and especially theater and live performance at the moment. I think you have a keen insight into that, given the fact that you were at SMU doing your show directing Gruesome.
Yeah.
You got to perform it, which is great. And then obviously we were locked down right after that. So did you have any projects in the work at that point that didn't get to go through?
Yeah.
What'd you have? What'd you have that got canceled?
Not project, but like scenes,
ideas, thoughts, things you like. Okay,
scenes in class that we worked like nonstop, and it was just right before Thanksgiving. Spring break.
Like,
so we were lucky. What time is it?
Found that time machine again.
I gotta go.
Lord. How long have we been in quarantine?
Yeah, exactly. But it was just before spring break, so we were lucky that some of it. But we had. Like, I was going to have, like, extra classes with Blake Hackler because I never got to work with him because I joined in at the sophomore level and not the freshman level. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the things I was excited for, and we had scenes in the work, like, we're going to do this scene. And I was like, oh, my God, this is going to be so awesome. Like, and we're going to finish it off. It was great. However, in terms of, like projects outside stuff like Gruesome or Pride and Prejudice, no, I had nothing in the works. Pride and Prejudice, after it ended, I was like, well, who knows when I'll work professionally again. I don't know.
Well, then maybe in that case, maybe coronavirus was a good thing because you have worked during coronavirus.
I did.
You did get cast and in a lead role. You hate what?
And I hate to say that it's a good thing because it's so many people have lost their jobs and
the show's not about them, Ben. You take that credit. Corona is advancing your career at a more rapid rate than it's. You know what? I'm not going to say that joke.
Yeah,
I'm going to hold that one back because it's only my second episode. And I ain't got that kind of.
I got that.
I ain't got that freedom yet. I ain't got that kind of collateral yet. So, but yes. So I wanted to talk to you about that because I think one. It's amazing that you've gotten the chance to perform during this. A lot of people haven't. And two, what you did is very likely to be a similar type of performance that we're going to be getting for a while, potentially. So to anyone who doesn't know, as you said, I don't have an editor, so I'm not going to be like putting any clips of it or anything in here. Plus, I can't afford the copyright on it. But you did a filmed, it's not really a filmed performance. Was it almost like a movie in a way? It was like filmed in front of green screen and y'all were all distance, right?
Well, our director, Jeff Schmidt, said it was pretty much like a Zoom play just on steroids, like full blown on steroids. He said it's not a movie,
more football speak,
but there's a lot of, there's a lot of theater stuff about it that it's, in my opinion, it is theater. And people can go around and say, well, that's not theater. But while they're sitting on their, hands and whatever.
You didn't want to say hands.
Yeah, you're right. Theater 3 is inventing and investigating on what to do next, and I loved it. Yeah.
I think
but
that's big. Yeah, I think the ability to be adaptable like that is going to be what causes some companies to stay afloat and others not in this.
Yep.
And it's one of those, and some of us, myself included, have had to come to this conclusion. Yeah, you can sit back and complain about the situation we're in, or you can adapt to it. And there's really no other in between, unless you're just sitting there stagnant. But sink or swim is really where you're at. No, there's a lot of, unfortunately, theater companies are going to suffer a lot from not being able to do live performance. You can't sell tickets. You can't, beside fundraising, there's really nothing you can do. And here is a company. I've never worked with Theater 3, so I have no skin in this game whatsoever. But they invented, it's a fully realized version of the plays The Immigrant by, what is the playwright's name? Because I always
Mark Harlick.
There it is. I knew you would have the answer to that. The Immigrant. You were the lead in it, right? Or at least one of. How many people were in it? There was like 4 people in it, right?
Yes, I was the lead.
Okay.
So it tells the story of a Jewish immigrant from Russia moving to Hamilton, Texas, and it picks up as soon as he's selling bananas, and he's all dirty, of course, grungy, and he's selling bananas in Hamilton. He runs across a family who eventually becomes kind of like his foster family. It's never said that they're like his adopted parents, but they kind of are.
Sure.
And the story is pretty much the growth of how an immigrant can start here and do amazing and great things, because it turns out he was a brilliant businessman and he had quite a talent for that, and he becomes rich and successful, and it's pretty much a success story until towards the end, where, and sorry, spoilers, if you didn't see it, but pretty much at the end, him and his kind of foster father fight over like America first, because of course he's a Texan guy, he's a Texas bank owner, and he's like, well, we shouldn't let all these immigrants over, and he's like, why not? And then he's like, well, because of this and this, and then he's like, well, that's racist, and then they begin to fight until their relationship is irreparable, and the last time that they see each other is pretty much him on his deathbed. He's had a stroke, and that's the only time he can talk to him, because he's almost dead and can't speak, and it sucks to say that, but some relationships do end that way, and it's a touching success story that I was very lucky to be a part of. So
Ben, if someone didn't know any better, they would think that play almost had like political implications to like almost modern day.
Maybe there are.
I mean, obviously we know otherwise, but someone might draw those parallels.
Some might assume. Why would they ever think politics, like theater politics? They don't mix ever.
Certainly shouldn't.
Yeah. Oh god.
Shut up and act. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Shut up and plumb. Yeah.
Anyway, it's funny that you just went straight for spoilers for this one, and I was trying to tiptoe around what we were.
No, they didn't watch it. Okay. They didn't watch it.
That's true, but we're not going to go back and spoil it. But to the actors and the writer involved, kudos. On a side note, let me just get that out of the way. So what I really liked about what they did for The Immigrant was, and let me make sure I got this right. So it was. Sure. It was all filmed in advance, right, and edited together, color corrected. It was shot in front of green screen, distanced, and then cut together to look like y'all were on. Were y'all ever on stage together, or was it all shot?
No.
It was all digital, and y'all were acting against no one, and then cut together.
Yeah. So we're in a black box, kind of a black box theater, and in the center is this big, gigantic green screen, and behind, so of course there's the camera facing the green screen, and behind the camera is our director, Jeff Schmidt, who is like trying to do 50 billion things at once. It's amazing. Sure. And then you have the assistant director and the stage manager who are watching the filming, making sure there's no inconsistencies. There's nothing that's like well, his hair didn't look like that the last time we filmed this, you know. And then you have,
it's called a script supervisor.
You're right. Yeah.
Smart.
And then you had the sound design and the lighting design guys, and it was really cool because they had gobos going on, so it felt like theater, like while it was happening. But in the audience, you would have the actors on audience house right, house left, you know, upstage. Yeah. So like you're trying to act, and your partner's right over there, and somebody else is right over there. That's where you're supposed to be looking. So they have like these poles to look at, and you have to look at them. And sometimes somebody's saying something back there, and you have to look at that person whenever they're talking. So it was quite a challenge the first day it was going on. But we're lucky that some of the simpler scenes is in the first act. So yeah.
How long did it take to do all that, the filming, rehearsing, everything?
It took about 2 weeks, I would say.
Really?
Yeah. So this process was pretty crazy. It was pretty similar to what we were in the fact that it was like, hey, next week, you want to go? And I was like, oh boy, do I, you know? And I was so ready. The entire summer I was like, okay, I can relax. I can read plays. I'll just strengthen up here. And then I got an email from Theater 3 thinking it was like some advertisement thing, like, look at this Zoom play we're doing. And I looked at it closer, and it was like, read these sides for us. So I went downstairs. I had my parents read the sides with me. It was hilarious. And we worked via Zoom, like we're talking right now, on the entire play for 3 weeks. And it was some of the hardest stuff to do, because sometimes you're up and you're standing and you're acting, and nobody says something, and you're like, and you say the line louder, and then they go, you know, because the mic didn't pick it up.
Sure.
And it was really, really difficult, but I'm glad that we did it, because whenever we came together, it was like a bunch of individual artistic ideas all just coming together and trying to get it all into the correct and right direction that Jeff, who was our director, wanted. Yeah. And it's just like the work ethic of the people at Theater 3. Like, I think I as soon as I'm like, I'm hardworking, nobody's hardworking than me. And then I find people that I'm like, oh, cool. Well, they're just so passionate and dedicated to their work that it blows me away. Yeah.
That's awesome. How long did the post-production on that go? Sounds like we're talking filmmaking terms, but I mean, it kind of was. It had to be edited together.
Yes,
done. It did. How long did that take?
Edited like a film. Well, so we filmed it, and it took Jeff about a week and a half to get everything edited. And he came up to us, and he was like, I needed 2 weeks. And we were like, oh no, is it going to be bad? And we had a Monday night preview. I watched it. Everything was great. But Jeff, after we had a little cast party after via Zoom, and he came up and he was like, boom, look at all these notes. And he was like, flat. So he worked like the next 5 days on it. Yeah. He's extremely like, it needs to be like perfect. And I love that about him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool to work with people like that who, cause the idea of perfection to me is more fun than the pursuit of it. Yeah. So it's like, I want this to be perfect with almost no effort whatsoever. Yeah. That's not quite true, but truer than I'd like it to be.
Yeah. Well, don't take the assumption that he's like uptight or anything, because he was like the way that he challenged me to do theater, because he knew he put a lot of trust in his actors, because there were 4 people cast in the show. Only one person from the original cast was able to perform in it because of equity regulations. And so we had 3 new people, and those 2 people are wonderful actors and actresses. And of course, Jenna, who played my wife in the show, is brilliant. But the way he would just tell me small things that just made me be like, oh, this is great. Like, I would do a scene and I thought I nailed it in with the green screen behind me, I was like, yes, I nailed it. I got to where I wanted to emotionally. And he'd be like, okay, mics check, everything check. Okay, cool. So Ben, I want you to try this. Is that can you handle that? And I was like, can I? I was like, let's go. You know, I was like, let's act. You know, and it sparked that. I was like, let's go. Just that small stuff. He's doing a million things, and he comes up to me and he goes, can you do this? And I'm like, let's go. It was so awesome.
A wide-eyed innocence of a child.
Yeah.
So I think
Exactly.
the most fascinating choice of all that was, it's a filmed, edited performance, so it could be viewed anytime. You could just make it an on-demand thing that people could buy off a website at any time. But if I'm right about this, they made it where you could only do it at the show times, right? You had to buy a ticket for the show time to be able to watch it. So it made it almost more exclusive, almost like you couldn't. It creates the urgency of live theater, where is that kind of what the thought process there was?
Well, the thing is that we're lucky that we did do that, and I completely agree with you that it feels more like live theater whenever you have a specific time to watch it. However, the only way that they could have done it was that because playwright regulations. You know, whenever you apply for rights, royalties. Thank you. That's the word. Whenever you apply for rights for a show, they give you a specific date where you can air it each time, like this time, and how many people can watch it. Only 200 people were able to buy tickets to each performance. So, like, let's say 200 people bought it, and you're like, I want to buy it. It's like, well, sorry, it's sold out. I'm sure people would be like, what? Sold out? Like, what do you mean?
Just give me the website, bro.
Yeah.
Just give me the link, dude.
Come on, fix your website, you know. But it comes with, that's the whole reason why they were able to do it. And there was a genuine scare at the beginning that they weren't going to let us do it, and we were just going to do another Zoom play. Which, I mean, I'd be down to do it.
Sure, but it's just not the same.
And I'm so glad that they went this route and innovated. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. That makes perfect sense, because anytime you're signing up for rights and purchasing that kind of stuff, it's okay, you can pay us this amount of money, but only this many people can see it. If you're selling extra tickets and making extra money, you got to give us some of that kickback, buddy.
And you're a little bit in trouble too.
Well, then, if we give you the rights to it to perform it for 1,000 people, and you get 1 million people to buy tickets, we're gonna need some of that money.
Yeah, we're gonna need some of that shmoney.
Shmoney.
Yeah.
So, man, that's awesome. So I think we pretty much went through your entire career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
have we gotten everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I've had the past year has just been a fever dream. It feels like, because it's just like from where it started to like, oh boy,
not a real fever.
Yeah, hopefully not a COVID-19 fever. And it feels almost insane, because I'm like, I don't deserve this. I have the people here, like the people that I met at Richland and SMU and professionally now, who back me up and help my confidence so much. And it means a lot to me. And like art right now, like I know the whole world is going through a change, but art,
there's something going on now that I'm
maybe something
small thing.
But we're as a world, we're regrouping, and I feel like theater is doing the exact same thing. Like, because I mean, we haven't even talked about like the Black Lives Matter movement, which is drastically changing.
No, I mean, I have no problem talking about it. It's just not really the point of the podcast. But
I know, but
it's a topic worth discussing. I just feel like, who the heck are we to talk about it, Ben?
Oh, exactly. I'm like, so glad you feel that way too, because I was afraid you were going to be like, "What's your thought on that?" And I was going to be like,
No. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had by people who aren't us.
Exactly.
We need to just keep ourselves out of it.
Yeah, it's important to say because the arts are like, they're getting a second look at, like there's this whole thing, I forgot what the name of it is, where it's like Dear White American Theater, and it's for Black, Indigenous, people of color, to get specific rights, not just on the stage or presentation, not just on the stage, but off of it too,
Yeah.
And how many times have we done theater where we look around and we see ourselves, you know.
It's true.
And art is taking a reform just like the rest of the world, and it was absolutely crazy and lucky that I was able to do art while the world and everything was reforming. So that's
it's a very special time. It really is.
It is.
It's weird with the coronavirus stuff going on at the same time, because it's like, now we know how to do art and make it inclusive and great. We can't do it, but we know how.
We can't do it, but we can do it. I mean, we can't.
We got the plan in place.
We got
it's sitting
plan.
there, like SMU says.
The
plan on having the plan. We got it. What a perfect end note there.
Way to end.
But we're not done.
We're not,
because we have one more thing we do every episode. If anyone has watched the one episode so far, finish every episode by
turn on this light so I
reading
can
a scene. Oh, you're gonna get some mood lighting? Okay, well, I'll introduce it while you're doing that.
No mood lighting.
So we read a scene. Yeah, that's true.
I just forgot that I had a big light in this room.
Ooh. So yes, we end every episode by me reading a scene with our guest. You chose the scene this week. Why don't you tell everyone what you chose?
Sure. I chose a scene from, speaking of Rajiv Joseph, who wrote Gruesome Playground Injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a little bit of a Rajiv Joseph high. So we're going to read a scene from The Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo. Yes.
Didn't Rajiv Joseph write the screenplay for the movie Draft Day?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Bringing it back to football. I think he did. Someone double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure Rajiv Joseph wrote the scrapplay for the movie Draft Day.
He is a man of many talents.
Have you seen that movie? Might want to change your words.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No, he's anyway, a very talented writer.
Yeah.
But we made some football references, so I figured that'd be one more.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So, Draft Day.
Just so you know, I know
Yeah.
nothing about football. I'm like
I know.
completely clueless.
Oh, to people watching who didn't know
Yeah, people watching. I know you know.
I know football.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's why football.
Football.
Yeah. Football.
Yeah.
So this is a play called Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo. I've never read it. And when did you give me the scene, Ben?
I gave you the scene 2 hours ago.
I've been asking you for like a week.
I know.
And today you were like, I got it.
I promise. But pretty much all you need to know, Rajiv Joseph, when he has a lot of characters, a lot of stuff goes on. So what you need to know is there are two characters, Tom and Kev. At the beginning of the play, Tom has a golden gun and Kev has a regular gun, and they're pretty much watching this tiger at the Baghdad Zoo in 2003 during the war, and the tiger pretty much bites Tom's hand off, and Kev shoots the tiger, and now the tiger's haunting him. So
you do.
Yeah, Kev is now seeing the tiger, and he's being put in like a kind of mental hospital. He doesn't know it. Tom came to see him. Not really. He came to get his gun because his gun is actually belonging to the son of Saddam Hussein, and it costs a fortune. So he needs it right now.
I didn't even know that, so you're giving me character backstory I didn't know, because once again, can't stress this enough, you gave this to me 2 hours ago.
This is the best acting moments. Whatever happens right now.
When I don't know any of my motivation. This is like my high school acting. I have no idea what the character's like life or motivation is. It's just there are words, you read them up there, you see? That's acting.
That's great.
So that's where we're at. So I will be playing Tom.
Yep.
You will be playing Kev.
I will indeed.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. So, so this starts off with you in the hospital in bed, and I'm entering to see you. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right.
Oh boy.
Tommy?
Hey, what's up?
You're back.
I came back. Check it out. Bionic hand.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Did you up right. I'm like RoboCop.
Why'd you come back?
Didn't want to go out like that. Besides, I had stuff I needed to get.
Like your toilet seat?
Yeah, that's one thing. And my gun.
Let me see your hand.
Check it out.
That's bad ass.
Yeah.
They've had me in here for like a week now.
What happened?
It was fucked up.
Yeah?
we were doing these night raids, and I went around to the back and booked it upstairs. I go in this room. This motherfucker comes out from under the bed, clocked me in the face. I was out. Next thing I know, I'm on my way here. I want to get back, you know. This is bullshit, but they keep running tests. They keep telling me they're running tests.
Yeah.
How was America?
It was all right.
You get Mickey D's?
Yeah, I got some right before I came back.
Oh, what'd you get?
What did I get? What did I order?
Yeah, I had Mickey D's.
I don't know, Big Mac.
Big Mac combo?
Yeah, with the fries and Coke.
Oh, I always get McChicken combo.
Yeah, that's good too.
What else you do there?
I don't know, got this.
You get your dick wet?
No, man.
You didn't? All the way back to the States and you didn't? You even see any bitches back there?
Yeah, I won at the hospital. My nurse.
You tap that?
No, man.
You didn't tap that?
No, man, Jesus. I got surgery for my hand, okay? I wasn't thinking about getting laid.
I wish I could get some pussy.
Yeah, sure.
You know that tiger?
Yeah.
I shot him with your gold gun.
Yeah, I know. I was there, remember?
I'm just saying.
You have it?
What?
The gold gun, do you have it?
Not with me.
Not with you?
I told you, man. I'm on a fucking night raid. Next thing I know, I'm on my way here. It's not like I had time to pack, you know, what I'm saying.
Well, where's the gun?
Somewhere safe.
Where?
I don't know, man. Where's your toilet seat?
None of your business, Kev. Where's my gold gun?
You know what, man? I saved you, okay? I saved your life.
I don't care what you did. Where's my gun?
It's in your mama's ass.
What?
I said, your gun? It's shoved up your mother's ass. She put it there herself.
Kev, do you know that my mother's dead?
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on the moms. I was just saying, you know, I thought you came to visit me and see how I was doing and catch up and everything.
The gun is mine. I want it back.
You got your toilet seat. That's got to be worth way more.
We're not going to argue about this.
You should just give it to me. Be a decent fucking guy, you know? I killed a tiger with it.
Look at this. Look at this motherfucker.
What? God, what's your problem?
I lost my hand. It's gone. You get that, asshole?
Yeah, I know. I can see. I was there.
I was going to go home and work for my uncle. What am I supposed to do now? I lost my right hand.
Dude, that thing is top of the line. You're like RoboCop.
No, I'm not. I'm a stupid, handicapped jerk. I didn't even get a Purple Heart.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So I got some gold that I can get, and maybe I'll have a fucking livelihood when I get back.
A livelihood?
Yeah, it's like what the meaning of life is.
So what? Your livelihood's gonna be having a gold toilet seat and a gold gun?
No.
Because that sounds like a kind of whack-ass livelihood, you know?
Just shut the fuck up about it.
Tommy, you ever think about him?
Who?
The tiger.
He bit off my hand.
You ever see him?
What?
You ever see the tiger? Like, just hanging around.
The tiger.
Yeah, or talking.
What are you talking about?
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, what? What is your question?
I'm asking you.
What?
I'm asking you. You ever see that tiger around or anything?
The tiger is dead.
I know the tiger is dead. I killed the fucking tiger. I'm asking you if you ever seen him. Like his ghost.
No, Kev, I've never seen the tiger's ghost. I don't believe in ghosts. Especially I don't believe in animal ghosts.
Oh, I gotta tell you something, man.
Jesus.
Oh. Seriously, man? Can I tell you something? You're like the person I can tell this stuff to.
I don't even really know you, man.
Can I just tell you something, please?
Fine.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you something.
I said fine, okay?
Trying to be like a normal guy, you know? Trying to tell you something. Something whack. Something kind of whack, okay?
Would you just tell me?
Okay. So look, You know, I said I was on that night raid.
Yeah, and the dude came out from under the bed and he whacked you upside the head. I know.
Okay, so I'm like lying there, right? And the dude takes off, right? So I'm alone in the bedroom.
You're alone in the bedroom.
And the ghost of that tiger walked into the room.
The ghost of the tiger.
I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. But he wasn't like how he was in real life. He was like walking on his hind legs.
No shit, his hind legs?
Yeah, and he could talk.
He could talk. What did he say?
He started babbling all this bullshit to me, and then I fainted.
You fainted.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was freaking out.
And then what?
That's the thing. I don't remember much after that.
That's a pretty fucking stupid story.
You're not listening to me.
What?
I didn't finish.
Well, then finish.
I'm trying to tell a story here.
Tell the story or I'm leaving.
Forget it.
Forget it. Jesus, you're stupid. You know that? Where's the gun, Kev?
I thought you came to see me.
Well, I didn't come to see you, Kev. What am I, your mother?
Dude, my mom is dead.
No, she's not.
So?
Oh, my God. You've got to be the dumbest piece of shit in the entire fucking world.
Whatever, man. Did you even get the letter I sent you?
Yeah, I got the letter.
I wrote you a fucking letter, dude.
I know. Thanks. Thanks for the letter you sent me.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it right after the first surgery.
Yeah, I'm good at writing letters and shit.
I didn't ask you to write me.
I know you didn't. I'm not gay.
I didn't say you were.
I wrote you a letter, man. I mean, I saw what happened to you. Do you even remember? Do you even remember that tiger biting your hand off?
I remember enough.
Yeah, well, fucking A. That was some crazy shit. I don't exactly think that's like normal, even for war and shit. I felt bad, you know, for you. I mean, I was glad to kill the tiger. I was glad to save your life, Tommy. You're my good buddy. That's what people do when they have a friend and shit.
Well, thanks.
No, don't mention it. We're partners, you know. We've been through battles together, Tommy.
You know where you are, Kev?
The war, man.
No, I mean here.
Hospital?
They think you're crazy.
I ain't crazy.
You weren't attacked by no Iraqi from under the bed either.
You weren't even there.
You're going nuts.
Nah, man, I'm cool.
Gulf War syndrome, you little bitch.
I do not.
You are fucked, man.
You don't really have a great bedside manner. You know that? You know what I'm saying, Tommy?
They got you on suicide watch.
That's not true.
Yeah, they do.
Bullshit, man. If they did, they wouldn't be leaving sharp objects and sit around, you know? They wouldn't leave sharp objects around my bed for me to find.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the tiger.
The tiger is dead.
He's not, Tommy. He's right here.
Where?
Here, in this room. He hangs out here all the time. He's here right now, Tommy. Tommy, don't leave. You're my best friend.
I am not your friend.
Yes, you are. You are, man, and I need you, okay? I'm so scared. He's everywhere, you know, everywhere I look is that stupid fucking tiger.
Well, that's your psycho problem, Kev, not mine. Now, I have some gold left that I have to get to before I leave here, and if I don't get the gun back from you, I'm going to kill you, understand? And that's scene.
Quick fact. The tiger was originally played by Robin Williams.
I did know that, shockingly.
Nice. Yeah.
Fun times.
Fun times. Yeah.
That was my second time reading that.
Yeah, I know. There was a point. I think we're a little bit because I'm reading from this playbook.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different, and I was like, is he gonna finish the line?
Oh, was the wording different on something?
Yeah, but Rajiv Joseph does that a lot.
Oh, does he like alter it?
There's like 5 different gruesome playground injuries.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
pretty crazy.
Well, I guess that's a good ending point, Ben. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
No problem. It was great talking to you.
It was great talking to you too.
Yeah, I'm sorry the podcast lasted for about an hour and 40 minutes, but we haven't.
I could have stopped it at any time.
Yeah,
I didn't.
We were on such a great roll. We were like, oh yeah, here's here. And then we were like, okay, but Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is true.
Yeah,
but just kind of veered off of where we were going. But yeah, for sure. So thanks everyone for watching. Ben, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything else you got going on? What's in the future for you?
Oh, the future is uncertain.
Isn't it though?
Say
True words of Urban Spoke.
Yes, support your local theaters. They need it now more than ever. And
they really do.
I was working with one, and it's terrifying to hear and talk about whenever people who are running these institutions say, well, we don't know. And make sure that they do know. Support them every chance that you can. So, yeah. Even if it's a Zoom play. I know. But
they're not the best, but they're what we got.
Yeah.
Same with podcasts like these. So, catch you later, man. You have a great one.
You too, brother.
Bye, everybody.